The Kansas City Chiefs look to bounce back from their disappointing loss against the Philadelphia Eagles on Monday Night Football. And what better week to do it than Raiders week? But it will be no easy task as Antonio Pierce got them boys looking different and the Kansas City Chiefs are a little banged up going into this game. So with that, let's cut the chit chat and let's have some fun. Alright, who's ready to put last week behind us and fast forward to this Sunday? We got one more day, and as y'all know, as tough as it may be, we are still gonna go live and hopefully rinse, cycle, repeat, and watch a Kansas City Chiefs W as they take on the Raiders in Las Vegas. And yes, I will be going live. So please stay tuned. I just posted it on the channel, so please be sure to hit that bell icon to get your notifications ready and subscribe to the channel. That way you do not miss out on anything. What we will be doing today is previewing some of the rivalry action and seeing how the Kansas City Chiefs can bounce back into the win column. Now with that, let's get into all of it. Now a little bit of surprising coming out onto Friday was the Kansas City Chiefs were basically fully healthy through the entire week until Friday, and everything went kind of bizarre and the injury report got kind of lengthy. So let's get to the headlines, because even though it looks concerning, this might be the recipe to find out who the Kansas City Chiefs really are, and Andy Reid may have to play the cards that Chiefs Kingdom has been begging for. So let's start off with the major news. Well, major as in the Kansas City Chiefs put McCole Hardman on IR. He will be missing the next 4 weeks. Now, they designated him on the injured reserve due to a sprained thumb. Now, yes, a lot of us when we hear that, we're like, wow, a sprained thumb really got him on injured reserve. But honestly, I think coaches, GMs, they know how to maneuver the roster to where they want to put each and every player. And now that they're bringing Richie James on, it means, well, it's time to push a wide receiver back. And it just so happens it's McCole Hardman Jr. And we get to see now what Richie James is all about. Now, will he save the wide receiving core? Pause there, Chiefs Kingdom. I don't know if all that will happen, but hopefully he can bring some life, and also he can bring some life into the special teams, because we had another injury update that caught us all off guard as well, is that Kadarius Toney will miss the Raiders game due to a hip injury. But with that, the Kansas City Chiefs have elevated Montrell Washington. Honestly, I'm a huge fan of Montrell Washington. I think the games that he's played for the Kansas City Chiefs, he's been their best returner, and I look forward to watching him against the Raiders, to where he's going to be your designated kick returner and punt returner. It's what he does best. It's someone who can focus on one area of the field instead put him out on wide receiver or put him out on special teams. Nah, that's where he's going to focus on, and that's where he will excel in. That means if we see Richie James in this game, which I really believe we will, it's going to be in the slot, it's going to be in the receiving game. Now that the Chiefs are down Richie James and are down Kadarius Toney. And also, I want to stress this as well. Being down 2 wide receivers, you would really think, Chiefs Kingdom, that if this isn't the Rashee Rice game, I don't know what game will be. Like literally, we have been all hoping and praying that Rashee Rice will have his breakout game. Now that the Kansas City Chiefs are down 2 wide receivers, this seems like the recipe, a beautiful one. After a Thanksgiving meal, that Rashee Rice will finally have 100-yard games and just go bananas. And after the wide receiving core had an abysmal Monday night, what better place to do it than in Las Vegas as well? So my eyes will be peeled on him. What is Rashee Rice's biggest enemy? It's Coach Reid, because it seems like every time he has a good play, he's headed back to the sideline. I want to see Rashee Rice in each and every play, each and every snap, and getting targets. And then we will find out what kind of wide receiver he is. And believe me, Chiefs Kingdom would be excited to see him in on a full basis, because that means I already know he will be making plays. For someone who's not on the field or seeing as much targets as any other wide receiver, he still leads the team in receiving yards. Now you may say, well, that's kind of a sad story for the receivers out there, but it's also a good thing for what Rashee Rice brings to the team. He needs to be on the field, Coach Reid. Get him the football. Now, one more injury I wanted to discuss as well is that the Kansas City Chiefs will also be without Jerick McKinnon in this game. Again, this is a glass half full for me because what does that mean? That means Coach Reed and the offense can focus on giving the ball to Isaiah Pacheco. Now, yes, they did elevate LaMichael P. Ryan, but there's no excuse. We've seen what Isaiah Pacheco did against a stout Philadelphia Eagle running defense when he had over 89 yards basically in the first half, and then the Kansas City Chiefs abandoned him. Focus on that grown man for 4 full quarters. I guarantee you he will eclipse 100 yards in this game. And this can be the game where the Kansas City Chiefs can find their identity. And as I said, run the damn ball. I've been saying it for 12 weeks. It's going to keep continuing until it's on a constant basis. And this is the type of game to do it. Now let's transition and focus on this Kansas City Chiefs offense going against the Las Vegas Raiders defense. Now, like I mentioned, we're in week 12 and we're still discussing the inconsistencies surrounding this Chiefs offense. It's really a storyline I am so tired of. And honestly, it's got to do with all coaching and finding the identity of this team. They need to stop looking back in the past. That is not the same offense. And as I mentioned just a few minutes ago, the identity has to be solely focused around Isaiah Pacheco, I believe. And you guys know, you guys have been tuned in on this channel. I really believe if you focus on Isaiah Pacheco and give him 15 to 20 carries a game, it will solely open up the receiving game and Mahomes will find his weapons. Now, last week, man, it was a different story. Receivers were dropping everything that came their way. You can't think that will continue to happen, but it just may, as the Kansas City Chiefs wide receivers lead the league in drop passes. Well, let's say receiving core, because they're all a unit. If a ball comes your way, you're a part of that core. But the fact that there's 26 drop passes on this team and 21% of Patrick Mahomes are incompletions due to drop passes, that is absurd. That needs to change, because if the Kansas City Chiefs really find themselves as a playoff contender, we're not even going to say Super Bowl contender. If they find themselves as a playoff contender, they need to make these kind of plays. The thing that happened with MVS, Justin Watson, those drop passes didn't work on Monday night, and they most especially won't work on a playoff run too. So you still got 6 weeks in the season to get these things hammered out and strengthened together. Now, you're going against the Las Vegas Raiders defense, who is mid-tier, and that's honestly better than years past as well. And this Antonio Pierce defense, boy, they are ready to go. They're aggressive, and they are inspired to play for this coach. So best believe they will be ready to play. On the secondary and on the line too as well is where they have shown huge strides. But doesn't mean they can't be got, because Patrick Mahomes' record against the Raiders and Las Vegas, he's undefeated. And it's a streak we really look to see strive moving forward, but you can't have the same miscues. You can't have the same mistakes. And what does that mean? Mahomes, cut down on the turnovers. Yes, I'm looking at you. You have 9 interceptions on the year. That's not Mahomes-esque. That needs to start coming down as well. And then you start looking at the team in whole. Turnovers in general, fumbles, need to stop. This team is turning over the ball at a high rate. And if you keep doing that, a team like the Las Vegas Raiders can win. Just look at the Denver Broncos. They did it to us. You can't keep giving teams opportunities to win a football game. And that as well goes as the Kansas City Chiefs need to execute in the red zone. You need to put up 7. Man, I may even say you need to put up 3. You need to put up points. The fact that the majority of the Kansas City Chiefs turnovers are happening in the red zone is inexcusable. And that's one thing that needs to change. I don't like turnovers at all, but the fact that I see most of them inside the 20 when we're driving is really head scratching and really hard to watch. And again, if this wants to be a Super Bowl team or a playoff team, those things need to come down and they need to start against the Raiders. And one thing I'm going to watch for is not how they start the game, because the past 2 weeks, even going back to the Dolphins game, they start quick, fast, and on the board they put up 7. I want to see how you react. I want to see what happens at the end of the first and going into the second quarter, because that's when you disappear. And then, of course, I want to see a second half. This offense for 3 weeks in a row has not put up any points. That is disgusting. That needs to change. The fact that the Kansas City Chiefs are the lowest team in the NFL to score points in the second half, that's not the Kansas City Chiefs we know, and that needs to change. The fact that the Cleveland Browns have scored more points than the Kansas City Chiefs in this season alone is disgusting. You guys have seen the Browns offense. That is nothing to write home to. A Patrick Mahomes offense shouldn't be this bad and should not be putting up points. And it's not like they don't got the weapons. I'm not saying they got the sexiest weapons, but they got the weapons to put up the points. And they need to find a way to do it against the Raiders. Now, are y'all ready to talk about the good? Because there is good. It's just vice versa. It's what we're not used to. But I will tell you what. This Kansas City Chiefs defense is elite, and they are balling out. What they did against the Philadelphia Eagles should not be forgotten, and unfortunately, it probably will because the Kansas City Chiefs were handed an L. But man, they made Jalen Hurts uncomfortable all night. They shut down A.J. Brown. They shut down that whole team for basically 3.5 quarters. And of course, when that defense gets tired of being on the field because the offense keeps putting them out there, they gave up yardage and then they gave up touchdowns. But it's been a phenomenal season for them so far. I've loved what this D-line has done. Chris Jones last week had 2.5 sacks. George Karlaftis got after it. Trent McDuffie, man, each and every week, for someone his stature, being the most aggressive cornerback in the league is so much fun to watch. And then as I mentioned, they shut down A.J. Brown, but not they, him. L'Jarius Sneed allowed A.J. Brown to 1 catch, and he's going to have a huge task this week against Davante Adams. But he's had a huge task each and every week, and this rose to the occasion. But this one will be no different because Davante Adams has been known as the #1 wide receiver in the NFL. You best believe he will travel with them. And this will be a huge test for this Kansas City Chiefs defense. Yeah. Don't sleep on it just because it's the Raiders. This Raiders team has weapons and they are rejuvenated with the likes of Davante Adams, Jacoby Myers, Hunter Renfrow, and the rookie Michael Myers. These guys can push the ball downfield. The thing is, Aiden O'Connell, the rookie quarterback. The Chiefs defense, coached under Steve Spagnuolo, needs to get Aiden O'Connell under duress and make him feel uncomfortable. Because last week against the Dolphins, he threw 3 interceptions. Now, if Spags can dial up what we know Spags does best, it can be a long day for Aiden O'Connell, and this could be a defensive type of game. And if that's the case, I really, really believe that Patrick Mahomes can find a way to get this offense to get that game-winning score and win this game in Vegas. But I'm excited to see what the defense can do. Definitely on a rivalry week. This is the stuff we live for. And I expect Chris Jones to have a big day. And I expect guys like Trent McDuffie to continue to show out. And L'Jarius Sneed. Again, I want to see turnovers because I do not know what's going to happen on the offensive side of the ball. But I do know what's going to happen on the defensive side of the ball. They're going to make it a football game, and they're going to make this game so much fun to watch that, hey, they will give an offense the chance to win. And if the offense is clicking, this could be the picture-perfect game that the Chiefs Kingdom fans have been waiting for all season. We haven't had a game where it seems so complete since week 3 against the Chicago Bears. And I'm just wanting another one of those games. And I don't care if it's against the Raiders. And honestly, like I mentioned, the Raiders are rejuvenated. This is no slouch game. You cannot sleep on them because they still got a fighting chance to get a wild card seeding in the playoffs. And same thing, the Denver Broncos are also right on our tails. We are 7-3 now. The Broncos are 5-5, 2 games behind. You lose this game, that division's wide open in the air. The Kansas City Chiefs have really got to put their foot on the pedal and get that extension in this division again and show everyone what this team is about and show the league that they are still the owners of the NFL. And really, it all starts with the offense because we've seen what the special teams have done this year. They've been phenomenal. Under Harrison Butker, not missing any kicks, and it seems like the special teams has got everything together. And then this elite defense, no one thought was coming. They look right. It's all up to this offense. I want to see a complete game this Sunday with that Chiefs Kingdom. You let me know some of your thoughts going into Raider Week. It's going to be fun. And hopefully we see a bounce back game from our offense. With that, I'm going to sign off. Please be sure to subscribe to the channel. If you did like this video, please leave that big thumbs up. I'm checking out. Y'all take care. Peace.